You've already had 2 breaks, and that's really all you'll need. The first break was Notre Dame getting handed that second loss. Had they not gotten pounded by Miami and only had the 1 loss to Georgia, Notre Dame would be a 1-loss team that could trip you up. But instead, Notre Dame got pounded by the Irish, and thus they're out. Take them out. The other thing that helps you is the Pac-12 has faltered, and they're not going to get a team in. Once USC and Washington both had 2 losses, you could take the Pac-12 out. So because of that, you take out one of the power conferences and Notre Dame. That's great news for Wisconsin, because then that means you know you're going to get the SEC champion in there. You know you're going to get the ACC champion in there. And assuming Oklahoma wins the Big 12 championship and is a 1-loss team, you assume the Big 12 champ gets in there. Then that leaves the Big 10. Well, if Wisconsin loses to Ohio State, they don't have an argument anyway. So they have to take care of their business, but then they control their path to a playoff. The other part of that is, because Miami is 2 and Clemson is 3, the thinking of, could a close loss in the ACC title game by Miami mean that Clemson and the Hurricanes get in? My answer to you, Wisconsin, is no. That opens up the door for you. No, I don't believe it. We talked about this with Barrett Sallee, college football analyst, yesterday, CBS Sports. The entire construct of the college football playoff is to, yes, ostensibly to crown the right champion. It's also, though, to garner ratings. It's a television product. Think about how they changed the schedule from New Year's Eve because the television ratings weren't good. If the college football playoff existed in its own vacuum, it wouldn't matter when it was played. Instead, they are openly admitting we are here to garner as much attention as possible. This is why we have a weekly show about the rankings. This is why we are trying to schedule the playoff games. At times, we can get the most attention. They were trying to change the culture of America by planning them on New Year's Eve. Hey, this is what you will do as you watch the ball drop. Because of that, if you realize and you understand that's the umbrella under which we are operating with this, they don't want 2 teams from the same conference. They don't want 2 teams from the same conference, especially if those 2 teams are geographically very similar. Clemson, South Carolina, Miami, Florida. Yeah, those are 2 different towns, 2 different lifestyles, 2 different climates, 2 different everything, but it's the same conference, and it's too similar for that playoff committee. They are going to take the SEC champion, and I don't think it's going to be a 2 SEC champ or 2 SEC bid. You're not going to get Bama and Auburn or Bama and Georgia or Auburn and Georgia. You take 1 out of the SEC. You take 1 out of the ACC. You take 1 out of the Big 12, assuming it's Oklahoma. Because if Oklahoma gets toppled, then forget that. And then 1 out of the Big 10. And if Wisconsin wins the Big 10, they would be in. I am here to help your holiday Wisconsin fans. And do they deserve it? Hell yeah, they deserve it. Hell yeah. I realize their schedule hasn't been good all season long. It's not necessarily their fault that their side of the Big Ten's not good. But look, if at the end of the day your resume includes 3 top 25 wins, Iowa, Michigan, and Ohio State, you have gone undefeated, gone perfect, even if your non-conference schedule's not very good, and you won 13 games and didn't lose any, yeah. Out of a power conference, yes, especially the Big 10, which is not the Big 12 this year, or even the Pac-12 that are really down, yes, I'm taking Wisconsin, and I'm saying they're worthy of going to the college football playoff.